watching this video. A lot of you who watch my content and join me on stream on Twitch, you guys know that I'm a big Halo fan. I grew up playing Halo CE, Halo 2. I skipped school, high school, senior year to go with the Halo 2 Midnight Madness. Halo is one of my favorite franchises of all time. I've read virtually all the books. It's one of those franchises that still, as a 34-year-old man and content creator, still makes me feel like a little kid, like Christmas when a new Halo game is coming out. So for the past few months now, actually, we've been having access to the Halo Infinite beta, or alpha, or technical test, or whatever they want to call it. So in this video, I've been playing it a lot. I wanted to break down what I like, 7 things that I like, and 7 things that I dislike about Halo Infinite, about the technical test, tell you where I think the game stands, what's great about it, what needs to improve, what they can address before launch, what they need to address long term, all in one video. Basically, this is the state of Halo Infinite based on just the tech tests. This is based only on the multiplayer tech tests. We know nothing about the campaign. I haven't played the campaign. There's other stuff out there. There's data mines, content out there, leaks. I'm not going to get into that today. I want to focus on my impressions, specifically the things that I like, things that I love, things that I dislike, things that I hate about Halo Infinite in the tech test. So we're going to start with the 7 things that I like. We like to be positive around here, and luckily, overall, I very much like the game more than I dislike it, which is great. And overall, spoilers, I feel like 343 has done it. I feel like this is the new Halo experience that we've wanted for a long time, that both throws homage to the Halo games of old and moves things in the right direction, in a more modern direction. And we're going to get into how they're accomplishing that, how they maybe need to move the needle more, and all that stuff. So let's start with what I like about Halo Infinite based on just the technical preview. So the first thing I like is the core combat. The weapons in general feel very, very great. You know, there's just something about that core Halo experience. The gunplay, they've nailed everything from, you know, the movement speed, and the new stuff in there, like the equipment, which adds new elements, which is actually, it's not even really new, there's just new equipment. Things like the grapple shot, the repulsor, the threat detector. We're going to get into that a little later. But the core combat experience of Halo Infinite feels great. I personally love using the Commando. It's a great weapon. The sniper rifle's great fun. The rocket launcher's great fun. The Bulldog is an interesting new shotgun. The sidearm, the sidekick feels really good. I would say for the first time, this is probably the best I feel about the opposing faction. I'm not going to call it Covenant. I'm going to call it banished weaponry. I think they really took their time in rethinking what like a banished weapons would feel like, given that they're kind of, you know, scavengers and they're rough around the edges. Things like the Ravager are really interesting weapons. There's some old favorites, Covenant favorites mixed in there, but you know, like the Heat Wave, basically the banished variant of the Bulldog, which is different in its own way. I can't even think of it. The Skewer is a really fun new weapon. I think they've done a great job really capturing that primal essence of those banished weapons, also making them very even to their human equivalents, but also very unique. And they just feel good. And a lot of the old Halo games, to be honest, like, if I didn't have to use the Covenant weapons, I wouldn't, just because at times, like, either they didn't click with me, they didn't vibe with me as a player, or they weren't as good for some reason. But in Halo Infinite, I really feel like the core combat loop, they've nailed it. The weapons, like, most of the weapons feel really great. I'm going to get into some that I think they can improve in some ways a little later, but the weapons feel great. The movement feels great, although it does bother me a little bit that the slide has a bit of a delay to it, but you get used to that. The core combat loop of Halo Infinite does feel great, and I want to get that right out of the way. Feels like Halo, but it feels like the needle is moving forward, which I was very scared about coming out of Halo 5, because there was a lot of really modern and interesting movement mechanics in Halo 5, which I really loved, but obviously you guys know Halo 5 wasn't received very well, and I was worried that it would feel like player power had moved back. And there's probably still going to be some people that feel that way, but I think once you really get into your element in Halo Infinite, the more you play it, the more you start to understand, the more it clicks with you. I don't think it feels like you're moving backwards. I feel very good about it. It feels both classic and modern at the same time. Which brings me to the equipment itself, which is very, very, very important to Halo Infinite. So how equipment works. Basically, you pick up equipment on the map. You cannot spawn with it. You don't have a loadout that you spawn with equipment. You pick up equipment on the map. It spawns in certain places, just like weapons do, or you can pick it up from fallen players. There's things in there like the grapple shot, which is by far my favorite, the repulsor, the threat detector, a drop shield. There's plenty of equipment. You can go out there and check all the equipment that we know about so far. But what I like about it is it really gives you it changes the way you play. When you pick up the grapple shot, for example, it opens up so many new options for you in combat. So maybe I can pull myself up to this ledge up here and take the high ground, and it's totally going to change this fight. I can rain grenades down on them from up top, peek over the lip where they won't be able to see me as easily, pick them off with my BR or my sniper, or rocket the ground, or set the ground on fire with a Ravager, something like that. You can actually kind of like jump, like super jump in a way, not the old Halo 2 super jump, with the repulsor as well. Look down, use it on the ground, and you escalate yourself up. I think the threat detector is a great piece of equipment, especially for objective games and like big team battle. Calling out with that threat detector where people are, enemies are on the map, is only going to help your team. I don't particularly like the drop wall right now. I haven't seen too many people using it in a way that's super effective. It's interesting. I think it could be decent in some objective type games. Not going to say it's horrible, just it's not my favorite. It's very straightforward. And if I find some other piece of equipment, I pretty much always drop that drop wall in favor of pretty much anything else. I'm going to get into some very specific things about the use and limitations of equipment later in my dislike section. But overall, I really like equipment. I like pretty much all of it, with the exception of the drop wall. Again, it's not my favorite. It offers some unique flavors. I love sending players flying to their death with the repulsor. It's a cool little feature. And I feel good about the state of equipment in Halo Infinite after getting to use it more and adjust to it. It's fun to use. It changes the flavor of the gameplay, and I like it. The third thing I like about the Halo Infinite technical preview so far is the map design. So at first, the first two maps, I was a little concerned. When the very first technical preview, there was two maps. There was Recharge, and I forget what the other one's even called. It's the one that looks like a Spartan training ground or something. Neither one of them are bad maps at all. Neither one. They're both decent maps, but neither one felt like overwhelmingly great. They didn't feel like great Halo maps. But what they've added since then, the third map for 4v4 with some vehicles on it, it's one of the best 4v4 Halo maps, probably of the Halo 4, 5, and Infinite era. It looks visually astounding. It's got a great aesthetic thrown back to like Halo 3. It's got vehicles on it. It's got long range combat. It's got some close range corridors. It's got a very good balance. It looks amazing. It feels like a nice sandbox map. And then we have the first map being tested in Big Team Battle, which I have to say, this is probably the best Halo map that I have played in a long time. It almost feels like they took Blood Gulch, and then they got rid of the entire design, but they looked at what makes Blood Gulch like feel great. That classic like very large map, two bases on opposing sides of the map. It's not like Blood Gulch, but I feel like it's great in the same way. There's vehicles on there. There's weapons everywhere, and that's one of the things I really like about Big Team Battle in general. And this map, this Big Team Battle map, it gives you, I'll get into Big Team Battle later, more of all the things that you want. And this map, I feel like perfectly encapsulates that. It gives you, it's just the map design all around is great. There's so many different ways you can take. There's so many little nooks and crannies. The equipment changes the way you can traverse it. The vehicles changes the way that you traverse it. Every mode on it so far, Slayer, Capture the Flag, Strongholds, it's all really good. And the map design in general, these two maps, 2 out of the 4 maps that I've played are good enough to make me say, I really think 343's got it. I think the map design Halo Infinite is going to be good, and I've got a lot of hope moving into Halo Infinite multiplayer after playing some of these maps. Fourth thing I like about Halo Infinite is the customization. It's definitely higher than it ever has been in a Halo game before, with armor coatings, with the baseline armor. You can change pretty much anything, you know, as far as your armor goes, your gauntlets, your helmet, your visor color, much like Master Chief Collection, your knee pads, you can put prosthetic arms on. You can do all that. Weapon skins, vehicle skins, but there's also new stuff like your AI companion that you get to customize and you know, give it the personality that you want to, which will make call-outs to you during the match. Overall customization Halo Infinite, even though we're in the early days, you know, obviously they got a lot of stuff they're gonna have to add through battle passes and so on. I feel really good about the level of customization in Halo Infinite, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I can definitely see them having some fun with voice packs, you know, having voice packs, and even if they're paid, I really don't care. You know, having your AI companion be voiced by, you know, pick whoever you want, you know, whether it's Master Chief's voice, Cortana's voice, Donkey Kong's voice, I don't know, but I think they're gonna have some fun with those voice packs. If I were 343, I certainly would. The fifth thing I like about Halo Infinite, based on a technical preview, is vehicle mechanics. Without a doubt, vehicles feel the best they ever have in a Halo game. And even though I had a lot of fun with the vehicles of old, you don't feel like you're driving around on an ice rink anymore. You feel like you have actual control of the vehicles. They feel like these vehicles should. The Warthog feels great, the Ghost feels great, the Mongoose feels great. The handling of them all feels really good, and this lines up with rumors that we had read that 343 was putting a lot of attention into enhancing vehicular combat in Halo Infinite, which I think makes sense, because I think that Big Team Battle, 12v12 Big Team Battle, is going to be the new focus for Halo Infinite going forward, moving away from the old school 4v4 kind of esports style of gameplay. Not that that's bad, but it just feels right to me, and that makes sense then to put vehicles front and center in there. I haven't got to use the Wraith yet, or the Hornet, the you know, the Chopper, any of that stuff. It's going to be in the game, but the vehicles that are there feel really, really good. In a lot of old Halo games, as much fun as vehicles were, I always felt like, you know, if I was taking the game seriously, competitively, I wouldn't want to get in a vehicle, because they were just either too risky or they're too wonky. And if I wanted to have fun and just mess around, sure, vehicles were there. But now I feel like vehicles really feel good to use and satisfying, and when you see one, you want to get in it, and I think that's great. It's probably the best vehicular combat the series has ever had. Sixth thing I like about Halo Infinite is the visual style and the art style. This game went from, it's amazing, the narrative around it went from, it looks terrible, look at Craig the Brute, blah 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 blah, delay the game, to, oh my god, it's the best looking next gen game. And it's pretty amazing what 343 has been doing with the extra development time. The art style is certainly a throwback to Halo CE and a little bit of Halo 3 mixed in there. It looks great in motion. It really is a great looking game. Its art style, for me, it's perfect. I like everything about this, with the way this game looks, from the actual character models to the beautiful map design. Seriously, the environments look awesome. It really feels like Halo CE in a lot of ways, or a new age Halo 3 in a lot of ways. The weapons look great. Again, I like the way the banished stuff looks. Just everything about Halo Infinite's visuals, I like. Very happy with it. Can't say enough. And the seventh thing I really like about Halo Infinite is Big Team Battle, and this is important. So with each week, the Halo Infinite technical preview, in my opinion, has been getting better and better and better. And this latest one, Big Team Battle, feels like the Halo Infinite experience that we've been waiting for. The 12v12 Big Team Battle feels like a new age Halo should. More players, the map feels great. What I like about Big Team Battle is it really empowers players. This map is scattered with tons of stuff to use. You know, you basically never spawn and just have to use your AR and your pistol. Not that there's anything wrong with those weapons, but you have a lot more player freedom in Big Team Battle. You'll always be able to find a weapon or a vehicle or a piece of equipment that's going to try to, you know, make every spawn interesting, and I really, really like that. Again, I feel like the first Big Team Battle map that we have here is one of the best Halo Big Team Battle maps, or just Halo maps, in a long time. I like a lot of the stuff that they've added into Big Team Battle here, like, you know, with the weapon drops. They're very easy to find. There's like these loot vaults that you can hack on the sides of the map and get in there and get some power weapons like a sniper rifle, or some equipment like an overshield or active camo, some of the quote-unquote better equipment. That's only one map. I don't know what the rest of it is going to hold, but I really feel like Big Team Battle should be the focus for 343 going forward. I feel like this is going to be the mode that most players spend their time in. And, you know, I think it's important because a lot of people have been talking about, will Halo Infinite have a battle royale? Should it have a battle royale? Shouldn't it have a battle royale? We'll get into that later. But I really think that Big Team Battle feels great. 12v12 feels great. Everything that has gone into Big Team Battle, again, the enhanced vehicles, the map design, everything is there to make Big Team Battle the front and center focus of Halo Infinite's multiplayer. And I think it is time not to just have it as an option, but basically to make it the primary focus of Halo multiplayer going forward. I know it's a bold statement to say, oh, they should move away from the 4v4 of old, the classic Halo or whatever, but honestly, I think it's that good. I think Big Team Battle is very, very strong. I think most players now are used to larger multiplayer experiences. There aren't a lot of successful just straight up 4v4 arena shooters anymore. Believe me, I love those games. I love the classic Halos. I love Splitgate. I love Quake. I love those old arena shooters, Unreal, whatever. I'm not saying they shouldn't make 4v4 maps anymore. They obviously will, they are, and they should. But I really think they should put a lot of focus on Big Team Battle, because from what I've played so far, it is the best multiplayer experience that Halo Infinite has to offer. And here's a quick little bonus. I mean, it shouldn't be quick because it deserves more attention than this, but the music of Halo Infinite is incredible. I just want to say, I think they've done a great job. I think, you know, I liked Halo 4 and 5 soundtracks. I'm not going to lie. A lot of people still want the old Marty O'Donnell stuff back. But I think Halo Infinite's music feels both fresh and an homage to the past. I like the vibe it's giving. It feels very sci-fi. It feels Halo, but it feels new. And this is only the stuff that we've seen in multiplayer, which is just a few handful of tracks. But I really like what we've heard of the soundtrack so far, and I did not want to make this video without acknowledging that. So it's time to get into what I dislike. And I don't like to complain, I don't like to be negative, but there's definitely some things here that need to be addressed, and I just want to call out because it's part of my job is to try to make games better and give my feedback and you know, be open and honest and transparent with you guys about games. That's my job. So number one thing, and this is in no particular order really, is the limitations that 4v4 has. Just straight up 4v4, you know, like the traditional arena Halo Infinite experience. So I do like it, don't get me wrong. And again, like I said, the newest arena map they added is one of the better maps that we've had in Halo in a long time, in my opinion. And I'm not saying that it's bad, that 4v4, you know, arena is bad. But what I feel like right now, the way it's balanced, it feels like you are somewhat limited, especially in comparison to Big Team Battle. And I think, you know, that's probably what, if there's going to be controversy in this statement, but I think a lot of people, when they think about the classic arena experience, they think, you know, hyper competitive, headshotting each other with the BR, that kind of thing. But what I feel is it's because there's smaller maps, because there's less players. Right now, you don't have a lot of player freedom. You don't always get to spawn and get, you know, a fun weapon if you survive for more than 10 seconds, or, you know, go find a vehicle or a piece of equipment that you really want to use, like the grapple shot. Like, you can go minutes at a time kind of playing bare bones just with your classic AR or pistol. And it's not that I'm saying that you're at a severe disadvantage if you don't have any of that stuff. It's just that the game is not as fun. Just flat out, the game feels best when you have a grapple shot, when you have a needler and you're, you know, destroying everybody in the pink mist, or raining rockets, or shooting a sniper rifle, or using the skewer, you know, throwing on, activating an overshield and running headfirst into a huge fight and a whole team fight and grenading. And obviously they have to balance the game. It has to be balanced. You can't be, not everything could be super powered up and overpowered, but there's no doubt the game feels best when you're utilizing your equipment, when you're utilizing some of the game's great weapons. And I just feel that some of that stuff's a little too limited, and you don't have as much time to dabble with the best parts of the game. In arena mode, 4v4 arena mode, the way it is designed now, and the way respawn timers for the weapons and the equipment and stuff is now. And I understand that they probably don't want everybody standing, waiting to pick up, the grapple shot, for example, because it spawns every 15 seconds or something like that. But just the way it is now, it feels a little limited, and I hope that they find a way to unleash player power a little more, and because that's when the game feels best. And I don't know what the solution is. Maybe they need to let you spawn with a piece of equipment that you can only use once, and then you have to pick it up on the map after that. I don't know, just a thought. But the limitations of 4v4 arena do make the game feel at times a little less fun, and maybe a little too old school. Whereas big team battle, you've got so much freedom and things available to you that it really feels like a new, exciting Halo experience. The second thing that I dislike, and this is probably one of my biggest dislikes of the entire Halo Infinite technical preview experience, is the radar. The radar in Halo Infinite, to me, is absolutely useless. People can be shooting you, seeing you, shooting you, basically almost meleeing you before they even come up on your radar. And I don't know, I can't speak to the thought process that 343 has here, why they've designed it this way, what range old Halo games had radar for. I don't know. I'm not going to get into specifics there. But I do know that the radar feels absolutely useless right now. So my recommendation would be to either get rid of it altogether, which I don't think they will, nor am I sure that's the right answer, but it's that useless. Get rid of it so you don't even have the temptation to look at it and rely on it, or make it bigger. Make it so you can actually see, when people are getting close to you, so oh, okay, I'm about to be flanked, there's a guy around this corner. Or they could change the audio design as well. If they maybe make footsteps louder, then you would know there's somebody there and you don't need to rely on your radar. I don't know, but the radar in Halo Infinite, to me, is a big problem, and I don't like the way it's set up. Most games don't have radar anymore, so maybe getting rid of the classic Halo radar is actually the answer. But right now, the way it is, I don't like it. I feel like it's a problem, and it's holding the game back the way it is. Which brings me to the next issue. Like I said, the radar range is an issue. I feel like some of the weapons are not quite balanced yet, and that's okay. This is a technical preview. Nor has there ever been a multiplayer game where everything is absolutely perfectly balanced and none of the weapons are overpowered or underpowered. Splitgate is the closest I can think of, because its balance is just really freaking good. Right now, my primary issues are the starting weapons. The range on them is a little too long. The AR and the pistol both feel good as weapons, but I think the range in particular on something like the assault rifle feels too long. And I'm not saying it does too much damage per se. Maybe it does. Maybe damage drop off would help. But when you're trying to snipe somebody and they're way off at a distance spraying their AR at you, and it's de-scoping you so you can't zoom in, you're basically your sniper rifle, your power weapon that you fought so hard to get and get in a position where you can use it, or the battle rifle as well, same thing. They feel useless when a guy at mid to long range can shoot his assault rifle at you and just pepper you to the point where your AR, your sniper, or whatever, or your BR, I should say, is useless. I feel like that's a problem. The pistol, I'm okay with it overall. You don't spawn with a ton of ammo with it. I feel like it's a good, solid weapon. But I do feel like at a range, it's just the de-scoping, I think, that bothers me a little bit, the way that's handled. And I don't even remember how old Halo games handled de-scoping, to be honest with you. When you're zoomed in, you get hit, you get zoomed out. But I just feel like that's a bit of a problem to the game balance right now, because those are the weapons that you spawn with. And while you want to feel like you have defenses when you spawn, you don't want to feel useless with the weapons that you have, right? There's a fine line to balance there. You also, at medium range, a battle rifle should beat the assault rifle if the person with the battle rifle is hitting you with the shots. It's just the way it is. The other thing is, there's a lot of great weapons in Halo Infinite, but just a few of them don't feel good. They don't feel powerful. The plasma pistol, for example, feels very niche, unless you're trying to noob combo, which I don't really recommend, or stun a vehicle. The plasma pistol feels, I just leave it on the rack. I wouldn't take it. The new carbine, I forget what it's called. Is it the plasma carbine or plasma repeater or something like that? It's basically the equivalent of the battle rifle. Doesn't feel great. It's a little bit hard to get a feel for, and then it just doesn't feel strong. I think it needs a slight buff. And then I would also say, as fun as the Bulldog and the Heatwave are for shotguns, I would really like to see the classic shotgun brought back, even if it's a power weapon. Only one on the whole map, or only comes down in the weapon pods or whatever, much like a rocket launcher or a sniper rifle or a skewer. I like the Bulldog, I like the Heatwave, but I would really like a classic shotgun that could one-shot people or one-shot in a melee. Again, even as a limited style power weapon. Splitgate, again, uses the shotgun as a power weapon, and it's really satisfying to use. It's and it works really well. So I hope that 343 brings back that classic shotgun. Next are a couple PC specific issues. I feel the weapon balance, or weapon switching, I'm sorry, on PC. I don't know why I've talked to a lot of people about this, but the weapon switching on PC with the mouse wheel is glitched. It glitches a lot, and it like double swaps weapons. So you're trying to change your weapon and it doesn't change it. This is the only game I've ever had that issue with. I'm not sure why it's that way, because I don't know what it is, but it needs to be fixed, because it absolutely gets you killed at times. When you're trying to switch your weapon, it doesn't switch, and then you're left back with like a weapon that is either empty or is wrong for the situation. It gives you a moment of hesitation where you're trying to switch and then you don't have the weapon you want, so you're trying to switch again, or it's a problem. It needs to be fixed. I don't know if it's a glitch, and I don't really want to just change the settings so weapon swapping is done with a different key. I want to swap with my weapon wheel, so most people do in every game, so I just think it needs to be fixed. The performance on PC, even though it has gotten better since the first technical preview, it's still not up to par. I run virtually all games on my PC. I have a pretty strong PC, RTX 2060, i7 8700K, 32 gigs of RAM, so on. I run virtually all games at 144 FPS, no problem. Halo Infinite for me very rarely breaks 90 and often sits between 60 and 80. Game's not finished, it's not optimized. You still got 2 months until release, I get it. But I really think that Halo Infinite, it should be running at 144 FPS on PC. There's no reason that it shouldn't, and it's important because it is a multiplayer game, and most people are going to spend 80 to 90% of their time playing the multiplayer. So I really hope that 343 can either, whether it's giving you other performance options or just optimization, get this game up to snuff as far as frames per second go, because it looks freaking beautiful. The last two things, one's a bit of a nitpick, one is a long-term thing. I do think, as great as Big Team Battle is, and it feels so good to play, and I can't wait to play more, I feel like I just have to agree at this point, as much as I didn't agree in the past, that Halo Infinite needs a large-scale experience. It doesn't need to be Battle Royale. It could be just a bigger Big Team Battle. They kind of tried to experiment with Warzone and Halo 5. Adding PvE elements in there. Most of us didn't like that. I don't think they should try that again. It could be something like Battlefield. Just larger player count, Big Team Battle style thing. But I do feel that Halo Infinite needs a larger scale experience, and I think they can launch without it. I think they can add it within a year. They can add it within 6 months. I would not be shocked to see the Halo Infinite Battle Royale come summer or fall of 2022. I just think the way games are today, we're all so used to these big experiences, and while I certainly like smaller experiences like Splitgate, like Halo Infinite's arena mode, and again, a lot of those classic games, like I said, like Quake and so on, I will always like those games. I feel like modern players and audiences have just been trained to like and be just used to these large scale experiences. And Big Team Battle really does feel large scale. Even at 12v12, it feels very good. It feels big, as it should. I still feel like it's going to need something bigger down the road if it's going to get that type of replayability that modern gamers expect, which is funny because the Halo games were one of the first games back in the day that most of us just played endlessly and never got tired of. And I think Halo Infinite is on its way to certainly being that for modern audiences. I just can't help but feel it does need that one, again, doesn't even need to be a battle royale, but that one large defining experience. Right now it's Big Team Battle and it's so fun, but it really does need an ace in the hole mode or experience, I think. And then the final thing that I don't like about the Halo Infinite technical preview is the way that they're actually been testing this. And I think they're being a little bit too conservative, even if I think their testing is working. And I know they're actually testing. This isn't just like a demo to build hype. But the reality is that Halo Infinite does need to be marketed. It does need hype. And I think it'll be propelled far by Xbox Game Pass, by the free-to-play multiplayer. But this game has had one of the largest budgets of all time. And the way that they've been testing this has felt a little too narrow. You know, the first test being virtually bots only was really odd to me. I don't think that generated much hype, except to people who are already fans of Halo. And then I think the whole play tests, like, oh, the servers are up for 3-4 hours, then they're down again. They're up for 3-4 hours, then they're down again. This is a minor complaint. It doesn't affect the final game. I just think they're being a little too conservative, and I wish we'd see a little more confidence, a little more boldness from 343 and Microsoft and Xbox, because this is one of their biggest, most important games of all time. It's very important to the Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, PC, the Xbox brand in general. You know, Halo is very important, so I just wish they'd be a little more bold, even though, like I said, each successive test has felt better, and their testing process seems to be working. I wish they'd just freaking embrace it, you know, and let us dive in and not have to plan out when we're playing and all this stuff. And then I just want to throw one more thing in here, guys. I just want to address this because I've had a few people mention this to me. You know, why doesn't Halo Infinite have this or that? And one of the things that I heard people say, you know, there's been a lot of controversy about Forge and the co-op. And I've heard people also saying, well, why doesn't Halo Infinite have more map remakes? Why didn't they give us a remake of Midship? Why didn't they give us a remake of Blood Gulch? Why didn't they give us a remake of name it, whatever your favorite map is? Chill out, I don't know. I guarantee those are coming, guys. This is a live service game that 343 has promised is designed to last for 10 years. This is the Halo game of the entire generation. There's not going to be another Halo game this gen, I don't believe, unless we're talking a spin-off or Halo Wars 3. This is the Halo shooter. They invested a lot in this engine, and my guess would be we're going to get at least one new map every season, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it literally get one remade map every season. One classic Halo map, whatever map it may be, you know, Zanzibar, whatever. I'm thinking we're gonna get a regular flow of legacy maps, so don't worry about that. 343 is obviously gonna test the maps that they have designed, their new maps, to get player feedback, see how people feel about them, because they know how people feel about those old maps. They know you love Midship. They know how you feel about all of them and which maps you're going to want back from the past. And I'm sure because Halo Infinite is going to last a decade and it's on Xbox Game Pass and it's going to get seasonal content, we're going to get remade classic Halo maps. So if you listen to the video this long, thank you. Please hit the like button. But more than that, subscribe to the channel. But even more than that, we're talking about classic maps. Which Halo maps would you like to see remade for Halo Infinite? Comment those down below. Please come join me on stream to talk about Halo, to talk about other games, all that stuff. I'm starting to lose my voice. I've been talking for a long time now. So, we'll see you in the next video, guys. Thanks for listening. Come play Halo with me. Come chat about Halo with me in Discord and on stream. We'll see you in the next one. Mayor Reynolds out.